Hello dear friends, I'm glad to welcome everyone watching Sotnik TV this moment. We're streaming live. Let's start summarizing the expiring 2019 on Sotnik TV. 2019 has drawn a preliminary line under the rule of Vladimir Putin, who still has 4 more years at power according to Kremlin time. Putinists took one beating after another on the world stage. Here's a touch to reputation portrait. Russian delegation that arrived to Brazil for BRICS summit was searched with dogs trained for drugs detection. Putin messed up everything during the meeting of Normandy 4 in Paris. In the end of the year, the US implemented sanctions against Nord Stream 2 construction. In addition to that, China refused to participate in the process of de-dollarization offered by Moscow. Trump hit their head with pipe, while Comrade Xi spit in the back. Those strategic and geopolitical projects by Kremlin turned out multiplied by 0 systematically by international partners due to the holder being toxic. Nothing can be planned with Putin anymore, as it will go sideways. That was the main international outcome of the year expiring. Kremlin turned outcast, and the fact of them still dealing with that is more of a medical care, just like some patient meeting with psychiatrist. Things are even worse than back in 2018 inside Russia. The isolationism policy becomes the main trend of late Putinism. Internet isolation drill threatens to bring some disastrous results. Air travel operators have already reported bugs in their systems due to the isolation of internet. Security forces became the main actors on the inner stage. They were stealing, catching themselves, clearing protesters out and giving false testimony in courts all year long. In the end of the year they couldn't hold anymore and committed new raids. They even offered shooting a lawyer during those. You need me to go to the restroom? Yes. Can you do it over here? I can't kill you here, so let's take a walk. I don't get it. What are those threats all about? You told me you'd come if I took my mask off, so let's go. Let's go around the corner with us, come on. Can your mental state withstand that anymore? I see your pupils dilated. You've received an unlawful order hard to obey, so don't threaten me directly. No one is threatening you. So what were all those words about? Let's go to the restroom with me. Is that another threat? Come to the restroom. What is that offer supposed to mean? Do you need to use a restroom? Once you need that, I won't bother you. Therefore, another breach has been marked in the country's split mentally among the authority holders and the population, that starts expressing their protest with the most radical ways. Some take arms and start shooting by Lubyanka building, or blasting the cars of the officials, as well as waylaying security officers and beating them up right on the streets, paying them back for what they did. Those officials personalizing the authority were drawing an exclusion line all year long, openly forthing the following idea to the population: the state owes nothing to you, while you owe to the state. It looks like the population has learned the lesson during 2019. That knowledge will yield its results in 2020, transforming into guerrilla fight that still won't get mass for now, and would rather result in local shooting accidents. The country was burning, exploding and partly flooding during 2019. Tulun flood has resulted in Irkutsk governor resignation, who wasn't loved by Kremlin so much. Yet the murder of 8 soldiers by Private Shamsudinov hasn't led to defense minister resignation. In fact, those in the ministry has announced an information attack against the supreme generals. Moscow bristles with Iskander missiles, declaring the nuclear blackmailer formula hysterically. We live silence. Meanwhile, those drills by Severodvinsk almost caused a nuclear catastrophe, while the Sharik submarine sail ended up quite sadly. Just like that sea trip of that sailing smoke grenade called Admiral Kuznetsov aircraft cruiser. The 2019 fails as some clear result indicator of progressive disease of those political outcasts. The coming 2020 can unfortunately bring further catastrophes and dangerous breakthrough that literally make a dream of rapidly aging chief. Yet he is not going to live while the population keeps suffering. The most important thing is them not to suffer some nuclear madness outbreak, that in fact will leave nothing but total quietness. You're watching 2019 summary on Sotnik TV. We are streaming live at 7:09 p.m. Moscow time. Let me add several important thoughts to what has already been said in that story. First of all, we're now watching a risky dance by two notorious political scumbags, Putin and Lukashenko. They both are looking into each other's eyes like buddies, kinda implying, I will eat you, no you won't, as I will trick you. Here is an escapade by Mr. Lukashenko that may cost him a lot, by the way. Quote, a really simple option that will be accepted by Russia as well as by Belarus. Regarding the United States, you may join Belarus. Will Russians oppose that? They won't. Those outraged Belarusians won't as well. Look, Russia is joining Belarus. Why do you invite us to join Russia without considering such option? End of quote. I suspect that during the entire 2020 the story of Belarus integration into Russia will be promoted. Or shall we call that Minsk absorbing by Moscow? Just like some boa constrictor swallows some dough by tightening that with its snake skin. Lukashenko is now trying to cover behind Mike's Pompeo back, who is coming to Minsk in the early January. So the story is getting even more interesting in a few days. Next on our show are the results of the web survey. Using Sotnik TV Telegram channel and my Twitter, I asked the viewers whom would they nominate for Cave Personality 2019 prize. And what events do they expect in the coming 2020? I offered several options to choose and held the election online. These are the results we've got. Next, watch the video. When choosing 2019 personality out of the options offered, internet users spread their voices the following way. 12% gave their voices to insane Professor Sokolov. He has killed and cut his lover and postgraduate student. That wild crime by a mental reenactor became a mark of madness of Putin's elite. Evgeny Manurov, the shooter from Lubyanka, got 15% of votes. He started shooting by the main security service building in Moscow. The mighty special service that used to report a drone success in fighting against some terrorists appeared simply not ready for a sudden challenge from the lonely shooter. The investigation has been classified urgently, and the questions regarding the details of the accidents remain unanswered. Almost a third of the voices were given to Private Shamsudinov, who had killed fellow soldiers due to bullying and hazing. That blatant case revealed the decay level of Shoigu's army that needs to be discontinued due to its total demoralizing and military incapacity. Yet the unrevealed leader of Cave personality voting is Putin, the bold fur, During the year he was the main newsmaker and goal maker of the spiritual empire. Let us give him credit, as Vladimir Putin has done and said for several Hague tribunals. Once they had two of those, he had to be judged in both simultaneously. Around 8% of voters have chosen their own option. Gabyshev the shaman was named mostly. He challenged Vladimir Putin, the cave leader Koki. All year long, starting March 2019, the country has been watching the shaman route. He was first detained, then set free, and then his journey would be interrupted again. The question of the expectations from 2020 was asked, and 2.5% answered that was a war and heaven, due to the recent billboards by Moscow City Council. 5.6% can't wait until Putin's funeral. The champagne has already been bought and is waiting for the moment. 7% of those participating in the survey hope for some takeover or revolution. That means government change in Kremlin. That doesn't exclude the empire collapse process start, yet 7% is some miserable part of the common expectations. The vast majority of 84.9% suppose dull empire decay goes on. That is the option that seems to come true as a result. We'll see though. Those were your answers to my questions on the web. The web the Czechists wish to shut so bad. Thank you and be happy during the coming 2020. Be sure to make correct conclusion out of your 2019 experience. I really hope that conclusions are something we help you with. Take care of yourselves, of your hearts and souls. See you on Sotnik TV.